All right, welcome back on RealCopStoriesVideos.com. Over 390 cop stories. Please look them up. They're all my babies. I got some guy coming up with some new kind of grass in the coffee room. It turned out to be PCP. First time we did it, and he inhaled it and passed out. We had to tackle him because he's reaching for his gun. Look that one up. That's a good one. He was built like a linebacker. Imagine all of us trying to control this guy. He went crazy. Anyway, it wasn't too bright. But anyway, they're all my babies. The gross alerts are the most popular. Look those up. They're all Vice. If you want to ask me a question, please email me at rsbcopstories@gmail.com. I'll answer your question. The lines are open. Ask me anything you want on police work, okay? I'm finishing up on policy changes from police pursuits. And it went from, from all out, everybody chases the suspect, to we can shut them off ourselves, to limiting the officers on a pursuit, to listening to what the charge was. The officers chase him for a ticket, or is he a burglar, is he a robber? And then defining those crimes, because the city does not want to chase, say, a property crime suspect in a dangerous situation, meaning like a burglar or a bike theft or shoplift, stuff like that. That's just property crimes. They're trying to shut that down because they don't want to hurt the general public, because suspects have a tendency to go through red lights and take out people while they're being chased by the police department. And I was going to finish this with the pit maneuver, and I'll come back to that in a minute. I want to come off on a side thing here. Well, the last 3 or 4 years, because of that policy of shutting down pursuits, it's all nice when you do that. In other words, you're chasing someone, you tell the sergeant, he tells the watch commander. The watch commander says, shut it down. And the officers back off and the suspect leaves. That's one element. Second element is now you have helicopters from news organizations following the pursuit. You see the police chopper going around like this with the light on, and you see the news choppers up above, okay? I think my friend of mine said that they had an incident near his house where you look up and you see one helicopter, and you look above him and you see like 6. Well, yeah, because they all want to get the photo shoot, for the night, for the 5 o'clock news. Here it comes. Okay, but I'll tell you, pursue what happened. I'm going to get off site here because you need to know about this. I'm watching TV, and there's a pursuit in the San Fernando Valley. Guy's not stopping. He's been out going for like an hour. Okay, he gets off side streets, and the officers were told to back off and let the helicopter follow him. Okay, they back off. The guy's going down the street. The citizens are trying to block him with their cars. They're cutting from, even the news chopper is going. I even said this to a retirement I went to a few weeks after that. He even said, well, apparently the citizens are trying to stop this pursuit. And they got the camera on the car, the suspect's car, and the citizens are throwing trash cans at it, and the people in a truck came up and blocked him off. The suspect almost hit the citizen, goes around, and the camera guy says, the news guy says, I'm going to back off a little bit so you can see where the police are. He backs the shot back, and like 4 blocks away are all the police cars with the lights. I'm watching this go down the street. And I'm screaming at the television, are you kidding me? You're letting this happen? If you're going to leave. Because here's the thing. Any smart attorney will tell you, any attorney, if that suspect, after the cops backed off, and the news media is watching him, and he goes down that street, that suspect, and he takes out your family on the sidewalk, or he runs into a car and then takes off, and the cops catch him eventually, if I was those people that got taken out, I'm suing the department. You didn't do your job. You didn't stop the guy from killing my family. You backed off and let him go, and he killed my family. You don't think you can have an attorney for a job for that? Absolutely. Because you can say they're negligent. That's a big word. The department is negligent and not. And if, I grant you, I'm an ex-cop. You got a balance beam there. Okay. You chase someone, and he doesn't want to stop, and he takes out a family of 4, and you get sued. You back off, and that suspect takes off anyway and takes out a family of 4, and you're at fault. There's no easy way out of this. You're at fault for causing the guy to run through a red light and kill a family. You're at fault for backing off, shutting it down, and the suspect goes through and takes out a family. See what I'm saying here? There's no easy out here. So in lieu of a tie, when I say there's a tie, then tie goes to the suspect. You should chase the suspect. Get him and let him be accountable what he did. If you let him go, then even the suspect's attorney will say, well, the cops stopped chasing me. There's all kinds of outs here. So there's no outs if you chase the guy and take him down. But if you don't do anything about it, I'm yelling at the TV screen. I've been off the job now, 11, 12 years now. I'm still screaming. I can't believe this. You let them. The citizens are taking over. Apparently, the citizens now are going to stop the car. And after they did all that stuff, the citizenry, finally, here come the police cars, and they finally stopped them. Oh my goodness. Oh, and in the middle of all that, I have to come back on here for a little bit. They were trying the pit maneuver. Okay, now I'll get back to that pursuit in a minute. I have to go off on this. So all this different adjustments for the policies. Now they come out, not now, they came out with what they call a PIT maneuver. Okay, I had to look it up because it's been years. It's Pursuit Intervention Technique, PIT. So we went, actually, I'm working narcotics, and he took us to the driving schools to teach us that. And it was kind of fun to do it. You have a couple of police cars that are set up where they have like huge bumpers around the front ends of the cars so you don't damage the police cars. And then we chase suspects, and they have a rail around their suspect's car, and you get to chase them and knock people around and all that good stuff. Okay, pretty cool. But there's a lot of restrictions. You can't pit someone. In other words, you've seen it where they push the car around. In our department, if you do it over 30, because it could be lethal. You could flip the car, you could hurt someone, you could hurt the suspect, so you can't do it. That's one of the stipulations. Another one is you can't do it in a heavy, dense area where there's parked cars, citizens standing around. A lot of these pursuits you see on television, if it goes for any length of time, you got people outside cheering the suspect on. Okay, so you don't want to do the pit maneuver there, because if you slide him sideways, he might take out a bunch of citizens. You can't do that. Okay, a lot of restrictions to this. So they taught us that. It was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I hadn't been driving that kind of thing since, well, I had 32 years on, and I hadn't done that maneuver for 31 years. I did it when I was in the academy, driving like that. It was a lot of fun. It was very, very interesting. The classrooms about it, reason behind it, and then being able to do it, it was pretty good, pretty interesting. And then what they would do is they'd have 4 of us sit in the suspect's car, and then have one of our partners chase us and do us the pit so we can see what it feels like being in the car. Pretty freaky. Looks like, because the driver is the instructor, so he can kind of control the car, but you get spun out, man. You're flying around doing 3/4 turns and spin all the way around. It's pretty, you can see if a suspect turned around from the cops and this happens, I'm sure he's probably scared to death, pissing his pants, because this is not a normal thing. Pretty cool. Then you get to do it too. So that was pretty neat. So that was fun to do that. Okay, so now back to this thing. So apparently back to the pursuit. They were trying. Okay, so I'm yelling at the screen, do something, do something. Okay, so they finally, after this citizen trying to stop the suspect, which I thought was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my years of law enforcement, they decided to do a pit. And the guy came to an intersection. They had an officer waiting with one of these. Well, actually, first of all, for the pit, they had officers waiting with these spike strips. Okay. Well, I'm watching this going, okay, that's good. You can see he's got the spike strips, and what happens, they throw them out with a lanyard to get it. Okay. Car's turning around slowly. The suspect's car is turning, a U-turn. I'm yelling at this TV. I can't believe these guys. You got the spike strips. Apparently you're not training it. He throws it under the tires. He misses that. It bounces off the ground and it goes up into the wheel well. So the car's driving away, and you can see this spike strip going flop, 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 around the tire, and then it just gets thrown off to the side because it's not done correctly. And I'm going, well, you guys training this? I can't believe that someone would deploy an item and not be training it. You don't throw it out there like that. You have to place it in a particular position. You just can't. And it happened 3 or 4 times. They're thrown out there and it's bouncing off the car. I'm going, this would be like saying, okay, here's a shotgun. I know you don't know how to use it, but let's go use the shotgun. You can't. You gotta be trained this equipment. So it's like, oh, it was bizarre to watch. It was kind of sad because I think, oh man, because one thing about our department, and actually major departments, mostly our department, I hate to say that because we're in California, but whenever there's a pursuit, everybody wants to see it. And I'm talking worldwide want to see it. I have friends that went to France watching TV, and they saw a police pursuit going on full time from Los Angeles, because this is the agency that has all the publicity. We have TV shows behind us, all this stuff. So this is the place to be. So I'm sitting there going, I can't believe someone in Berlin, freaking France, is watching this. This is horrible. It's horrible TV. It's terrible. Cars are taking off. All these spike strips, and nothing's happening. He's still taking off. Oh, how embarrassing is that? So they're picking it up, and I'm going, oh my gosh, I don't want, So anyway, so then I went to retirement like 2 weeks after that. I ragged on a couple of guys that work the San Fernando Valley, because I said, apparently you guys just let these guys drive around. I mean, I was on them, man. This is the South End. We shoot the tires out. Well, we can't do that. But I was just making macho talk. But anyway, it was kind of embarrassing, for all of us. I mean, come on. So anyway, so finally, and of course the guy in the news chopper saying, well, apparently the watch commander, is authorizing this, and then, yeah, maybe the watch commander ought to get off his butt and get in a police car and go out there and see what's going on out here, because you cannot. It's like Lyndon Johnson trying to run the Vietnam War from Washington. You got to get out there on the ground and see what the hell's going on here. Okay, you can't just sit there in an office and say, well, let's do this, let's do that. Meanwhile, your officers are out there trying to save lives, their own lives, the lives of the citizen. They're doing bad maneuvers and throwing stuff. It looks horrible. It doesn't look professional. It looks rookie. Anyway, so after all that, 3 or 4 attempts on the tire strips, they decided to do the pit maneuver. And the only thing that saved him was that the suspect took off in an industrial area. It was like 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. No traffic, hardly any parked cars, hardly any citizens. It's just, warehouses and light industry and all that stuff. So then you see them, here they come. You can see the SUV come roaring up, and then even the announcer in the radio, because he's seen the helicopter guys. I think there's like, I don't know, half dozen helicopter stations that use helicopters. Those guys, a lot of them are ex-cops. They know what's coming. They've seen tons of these. He even said, might be a pit maneuver coming up here. Just watch out. So you see the camera guy going down to zoom in what's going to happen. Sure enough, it comes up, knocks him once. He spins a little bit. And as he's kind of doing this, the suspect's car, they teach you as the lead guy, when you bump, when you hit, you accelerate out of there because you don't want to be part of this spinning maneuver and you don't want to be hit by him. So you hit him. As he starts to spin, you take off. So he's already downrange, and then here comes the next car. As he's doing this, the next police car gets him, and finally takes him out. He spins it 2 times, goes into the curve, and he's done. He sits down his ass into the curve and blown tire, and of course the whole world jumps on him. The cops everywhere, and he gets about 10 feet, and he's down. So, but this is like this is like 2.5 hour pursuit, and they finally used the pit maneuver. Okay, so in encapsulating all this, and encapsulating or encapsulating, whatever you call it, we're getting done here at the end. Policy have changed, some dramatically. It's still, you see on television today, there's still pursuits. They're doing pits now. There's a lot, they've actually dropped a few of them. In other words, in the middle of the pursuit, they've decided to not pursue anymore. And you can almost rest assured that if they cancel the pursuit, I think danger is probably the #1 reason. However, liability and the lack of the crime could be the second one. In other words, a ticket, is it worth it? Blue, red light. Even drunk drivers, sometimes they let him go, which I thought that was kind of strange because, again, liability. If you chase a drunk driver, they always say he thinks he's drunk driving. He's sweeping. Obviously he is. And my argument, again, is the same thing as last time. If you see a drunk driver and you light him up and there's a pursuit, and the department will tell you, the officers don't want to, they'll say, shut it down. It's only a misdemeanor. I have a hard time with that. It is a misdemeanor. But if you shut it down and he takes off, and then you drive away and he takes out a family of 4, who's responsible for this? The suspect, of course. But in California, the suspect's not going to stand for anything. They're not going to have to do anything. He'll serve time, big deal. $200 fine for taking out your family or a family. I think that's wrong to shut down an inherently dangerous person like that, a drunk driver. And I think they've done it a few times. They might be modifying that. Again, I'm not actively involved, but I could see an attorney for the dead people saying, oh, really? Because remember now, police pursuits, police arrest reports, police tapes, especially now with the cameras, but helicopter tapes, all that stuff is public record. So if you're an attorney, all you got to do is pull that pursuit, even the audio, and say, you shut it down, and then 5 minutes later, he took out a family of 4, the cops got him at the accident scene, they took his blood, he would have blown a 30, and the officer did not arrest him. Guess who's going to be having to pay out a paycheck? The police department, because you didn't finish the job. You didn't finish what you're supposed to be doing. You were so worried about liability of hurting the people, but then you forgot about the liability of letting that guy go and taking somebody out. It's not good. Not good. But so to this day, I don't know. Again, I've been out of it for a while, so I don't know the policy about drunk drivers. I hope they keep chasing them and arresting them, because that's not a good thing to let them go wild like that. Not a good thing at all. Most of the time, you find out nowadays these drunk drivers have heavy records. They had a guy the other day. I'm getting off track here, but some guy back east that took out a bunch of guys on motorcycles, killed 7. He had an extensive record, a DUI and all that stuff. What's he doing out? It's just amazing. They seem like they're fighting to put him in jail, fighting to keep him from going to jail. No, it should put him in jail, and he fled the scene and all that stuff. That's ridiculous. But anyway, so I'm done with all policy on the police pursuits, and I hope you enjoyed them all. And it's not too funny. Some of it was pretty good, but at least it's informative. I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thank you very much.